Hey, this is Sam Black with my second match with White Black Warriors in Standard. I am on the play, and I have a really good hand. Basically perfect. I have Bloodsoaked Champion into Chief of the Edge with Silk Wrap to stop my opponent's first blocker, into, if I draw a land, a Wasteland Strangler to process the thing I Silk Wrap to kill another blocker, and Stasis Snare to kill another one. This is basically exactly what I'm looking to do with this deck. And just tons of different ways this hand can improve. I'll probably either draw a land that'll let me start casting these 3-mana spells, or just more 1 and 2 drops to keep attacking. So here, I could obviously play Chief of the Edge to get in for 3 this turn, but I actually generally like playing Bloodchain Rager before Chief of the Edge when I can play either one on turn 2 and I have a guy on turn 1, because the Bloodchain Rager stops any blocks from happening, and then the Chief of the Edge pushes more damage immediately by pumping 2 guys. It's potentially different against a deck that I strongly suspect doesn't have creatures, but Opulent Palace means that my opponent's reasonably likely to play something like a Rattleclaw Mystic or whatever. So I'm going to, and I also just don't really know what's going on, so I'm going to lead with my default play of Bloodchain Rager first. The case for, I guess, specifically Rattleclaw Mystic argues for Chief of the Edge, because I would often want to Silk Wrap the Rattleclaw Mystic, and then on this turn I'd be hitting for 6 instead of hitting for 4. But when I'm not playing the Silk Wrap here, and instead I'm playing the Chief, now I'm hitting for the same 6 that I would be hitting for. I did hit for 1 less damage the previous turn, so I am behind a damage with this line because my opponent didn't play a blocker. It's very close. On the other hand, if my opponent had like a Fiery Impulse there to kill one of my creatures, on that board I would want my opponent to not just kill the Chief, and so this maximizes my damage through a removal spell. So it's all very close. Anyway, I'm not really sure what is going on. My opponent has not played a playable Magic card as far as I know. So I'm just going to attack for 9 and obviously not play anything else because I haven't drawn another land. But I think putting my opponent to 3 here without the possibility of blocking should be good enough. I was just thinking that was the one thing I was afraid of. So now we're hoping to draw lands that I can play the Strike Leader or the Wasteland Strangler. Okay. Drew the land, and I think I actually lead with the Wasteland Strangler here, because if I draw another land next turn, then I can dash the Strike Leader, which seems like an important thing to be able to do. So this vegetation will go up to 7, which means that even if I draw the land to dash the Strike Leader, I won't actually have lethal. I didn't. So I attack, and I'm gonna play it safe, and just return the Bloodsoaked Champion rather than expose the Strike Leader to another Languish, and keep the dash threat in my hand. That's not good. That is 10 life. This retreat to Hagra has done some work, I will admit. Alright, this is good. You get to dash this, doing 3 damage immediately and putting 2 more power into play without overextending into a sweeper. Get my opponent back down to a manageable life total. And now see if I lose to like an Ugin or an Ulamog. Alright, so far so good. Obviously there are a couple Lumbering Falls that can block, but given that I can't target them with removal spells, I think the best thing I can do is just keep attacking. Alright, well this retreat to Hagra has gotten me low enough that these 2 Lumbering Falls are now threatening lethal. So I guess I'm losing this game. Sticking on lands and drawing a whole bunch of removal spells against an opponent who played no creatures that can be targeted by removal spells. It's not really the best. Now might just get retreated out. What a weird state of affairs. Yeah, that's very close to lethal. There's not really anything I can do. My best chance is to attack. It lets me get back my Bloodsoaked Champion, trade with Lumbering Falls, which is theoretically as good as blocking. And now hope that my opponent inexplicably doesn't attack, which still doesn't get me anywhere because I'm just dead to 2 more land drops. Oh, well that'll kill me. Okay, well, retreat to Hagra sure showed me. Now I want threats. Removal did not look impressive. Let's get rid of as much of that as we can. I don't know. I assume that this has to be ramping up to Eldrazi or something, but I don't know that they're beatable anyway, so potentially correct to just ignore that. Don't know if Dispel actually does anything. I suspect that I could probably do some research and have some slightly better idea of what my opponent's deck is, but the honest answer for right now is that I just don't know. So I'm just going to have these things in just as attackers. Just vanilla 3/2s. Because I think this creature removal is not good. I guess there's an argument for Valor Stance over one of them. And there's an argument for Dispel. The theory that my opponent likely has something that I can dispel. 3/2s for 3 are pretty bad. I don't know. I'm going to try it like this. I will keep this. I think I want to lead Bloodsoaked Champion. So now that I know my opponent's deck, I do like playing Chief over Bludgeon Rager on turn 2. Obviously it's not a question here, but last game would have actually been right if I knew what my opponent's deck was. That land being tapped is kind of annoying. Playing Strike Leader here would have been great, but Kythian's not bad. Sets me up to play around Languish. And if I draw an untapped land, I can just dash the Strike Leader, which makes everything work out for the best anyway. Animist's Awakening for 2. Hit 2 cards? That's pretty unfair. Alright, let's see if I can end this. I haven't actually looked at how much. Oh, this is just lethal. Cool. Turn 4 kill. Yeah, I think we just run it back. I wonder if this is a Great Aurora deck. Sounds great. Only problem with it is that this land is tapped, but a lot of outs to improve on that front, which is why I'm going to lead with the creature. Didn't go well. Alright. I think now that I've seen more of the deck, I know that that was bad for me. Did not want my opponent to have Retreat Tiger there. White, black, attack for 3. Play 3 more power. And hope for no Languish. This doesn't bode well. Put as much power as I can into play. So now I can attack and play Bludgeon Rager and Bloodsoaked Champion, in theory. No reason to deviate from the script. Now I have a 2-turn clock, modified by my opponent's ability to gain life and my ability to increase the clock. So it's still roughly 2 turns, although the blocker is potentially relevant. Although Bludgeon Rager makes that unlikely if my opponent doesn't have a removal spell, but big life gain is the real failure. At this point, my best hope is to draw another Chief of the Edge to combo with Secure the Wastes for a lot of power. I don't believe I can slow play anything in this spot. I gotta just put my threats into play and hope there isn't another Languish. Yeah, I might as well gain a life. Guess I should have played those in the other order. I could remove both of them and gain another life, but I doubt it's going to matter. I doubt that I'm going to fail to get to remove this for a life later, and I doubt that I'm going to lose by 1 life. That's not good. That's another Languish, I assume. Or something even worse for me, but most likely Languish. I can't really imagine what's worse. Yeah. Now did Lumbering Fall beats start? That is a lot of draining. The sad reality is that I have to trade with this Lumbering Falls because I can't take the beats. So I can block and kill this and keep 1 attacker to be able to bring back Bloodsoaked Champion. Or I could just dash this thing. Opponent doesn't have a lot of cards left, but double retreat to aggro means that something like that is almost lethal. Now dead to any land. I'm nowhere near killing my opponent. Well, that sort of gives me out someday. I think I need to not dash this so that I have mana to use this so that I can get out of range of dying to a land. So I'm going to just cast this and the Bloodsoaked Champion. Alright, so dead to a land, dead to any spell that puts land into play. Alright, dead. My opponent's deck is actually pretty sweet. Don't really know what the rest of it is or how many lands it's playing, but Retreat to Aggro is impressive, and the life gain combined with sweepers was very effective against my aggro strategy. I imagine this deck fares a lot worse against a Tarkus command, being able to counter Nissa's Renewal's life gain, but I don't have that tool and didn't draw the right discard, I guess. Having the additional... I got really punished for my sideboard changes here. Having the 2 dispels in my sideboard instead of negate and Disdainful Stroke was a really big difference, and having Virulent Plague instead of another discard spell was also really bad. So that's worth noting. Hopefully I can beat some red decks with those later to make up for it.